Welcome everybody. The true purchase price formula. Now, this is so crucial. I really do recommend that you spend some time on this worksheet, going through this. You would have just got this in the email as a link. Download it. It's yours to keep. And like I mentioned, I really do strongly recommend that you spend some time getting really efficient with completing this form. It's excellent. There's lots of variables. I'm going to give you a quick orientation of this worksheet because there are a few little functions to get used to, but there's so many cool little features here, and it really is. It's the absolute key starting point is to actually determine exactly what is your precise purchase price. Okay, bit of a mouthful, but not a range. It's the number one mistake I see people make is that they start with this broad range and then they end up comparing one suburb, one side of Melbourne to the other, wildly different price brackets, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars difference variance, and then wonder why they get confused. So stick to an exact purchase price, and the only way that you're going to understand that is by understanding, intrinsically understanding the exact holding cost to you per month. And that way you can work it out. It's very simple. Reverse engineer the whole thing. And this is where we start. Take every client through this form, okay? Over to the screen. Now, I've recently secured a property in Docklands, and so I've got all the numbers on that one. So I've actually pre-filled most of this already, but go through very briefly. A lot of them are self-explanatory, but there's a few boxes here. For example, your buyer profile, you'll see a drop-down menu here. Make sure you select the correct profile for you, because this calculates your stamp duty for you on the results tab down the bottom. Should have mentioned at the beginning, the start inputs is the only page where you will insert information. The rest are all protected, so they're all about results, and so you can't make any changes on those. All right, because it's all formula based, of course. Now, coming down, loan percentage, you'll have all these numbers, your interest rate, for example. Rental yield, if you are purchasing a property and you're estimating a yield, put that in there as a percentage, or as was the case with this property, is that it was already rented out. Someone knew the rent, which was 1043, really strong yield. I've allowed for, this is a really cool thing about this document, is that there's lots of little buffers that you can put in. And that's probably my number one tip to you, is make sure you're conservative with your calculations so that the end result, the actual, is better than what you thought. You don't want the other way around. You don't want to forget things. And like I say, that is the number one problem, that people unfortunately, unintentionally rather, cook their own books. They just get their numbers wrong. All right, so always allow for a week or two vacancy. Even in this instance here where it's rented, in the long term there will be vacancy. So, average that out. 1 week per year is pretty good. Rental haircut, again, just another buffer. Drop down menu here, dependent on your profile, your risk, your appetite for risk, you can change that accordingly. And also as well, I've certainly made sure here, look, at the moment, interest rates are probably heading downwards over the next kind of 3-6 months. But obviously we've just come out of a very difficult period where interest rates went up very quickly. So that's when I started putting a shock percentage rate, so that you can actually calculate if rates were to go up, then you can calculate that as well. Along with buffers, got management fees here. And here's the point, is that everything in this document here, just go line by line methodically. Don't leave anything. If you don't know anything, just reach out, send me an email. I'll explain it for you. All right, but go line by line, make sure you've got all of your inserts, all of the calculations in there. And land tax, these are all actuals for this property. Building insurance, landlord insurance, maintenance allowance, OCs, everything. So crucial. Now, I'm not going to go into the scenario modeling, that's for another video, but just hop over to the results page here. This is where it is all real. Here, on the right hand side, you've got all the purchase costs, and then the followed by the annual holding costs. That's just all summarized from the start inputs. And this, the key results. This is what you're interested in. And really, this line here, it should be in red actually. I might change that to put it into red. Monthly holding cost. And this is the number one place that, or the outcome of this document is that if that number is, and this is why it's so important, this is why it's the beginning, it's the start of our process. If this number makes you feel uncomfortable, then it's just, you just got to reverse everything backwards. You got to go back to the inputs and pull back the purchase price. All right, so because much of the rest will, although it will slightly tweak, it's not going to change significantly. Okay, and so when you come over to this side here, straight away you can see the monthly holding cost coming back down significantly. Or some of the other variables that can be mixed up here is that you may not want to, but you may have some other surplus amounts of cash, or you're going to perhaps, let's say, get a bonus in 6-12 months time, and you're going to inject some more cash into the offset here. You might be able to pull this down to, let's say, 65%, or realistically, let's say 70% in a year's time. And therefore, look at that, straight away, it's almost halved the monthly holding cost. That's with buffers, rate shocks, all the contingencies. And so all of a sudden, the monthly holding cost here at $650 with contingencies is in perfect alignment of what you're looking for. Then, as we can see, we are getting very, very close to the exact number that you're looking for. And that's the ideal starting place in order to then move into the next step, which is ultimately then start looking for suburbs. I hope that, that's gone a little bit longer than I hoped. Originally I was hoping to nut that down into 60 seconds, but this is so important. I wanted to give you a bit more time there. And as always, just going to finish up here on the final tab here, send for review. As you're going through this form, if there's any questions, start noting them in this box here. And then once you've kind of got to a point, click on the open email draft. And what that will do is it will prompt you to save this document and email it directly to me. And I personally will review all of your information and give you some insight, double check your numbers, make sure everything's in alignment, and give you some tips or answer your questions. You take care. I'll see you in the next email. And yeah, I really hope that's helped you big time. Thank you.